Welcome back to English Starline. Did you know one of these men wanted to drop nuclear bombs in a war? Can you believe one almost traded his army boots for a baseball bat? What if I told you one called himself the American Caesar, while the other said leadership isn't about fame? Today, we're diving into the wild stories of General Douglas MacArthur and President Dwight Eisenhower. Two World War II heroes who couldn't be more different. MacArthur loved glory and craved the spotlight. He even gave himself that big nickname because he wanted to be unforgettable. Eisenhower was the opposite. He believed real leadership is about humility, not headlines. Here's a surprise. MacArthur never finished college, yet he became the youngest superintendent of West Point, the famous military school. And Eisenhower? He nearly became a professional baseball player before choosing the Army. Imagine him swinging a bat instead of leading troops. Picture this. Two portraits side by side, medals sparkling, maps tracing their incredible careers, and a big, bold VS flashing between them. By the end of this video, you'll pick a winner. Was the flashy genius or the quiet strategist the true leader? Stick with me. It's going to be an exciting ride, and you'll learn some English too. Part 1. The Highlight Reel. Let's take a look at the best moments of MacArthur and Eisenhower's lives. These two men did incredible things that changed the world, and their words still inspire us today. First, let's talk about Douglas MacArthur. After World War II, he had a huge job, rebuilding Japan. Japan had lost the war, and it was in shambles. MacArthur went there as the leader of the occupation. He helped them build a new government with democracy, where people could vote and have a say. He made big changes, called reforms, to help Japan grow strong again. It was an amazing success. One of his famous quotes is, "In war, there is no substitute for victory." That means when you fight, you have to win. There's no second place for MacArthur. He was tough, and he believed in going all the way. Here's a fun fact. The Philippines, a country he loved, once gave him a gift of $500,000. Today, that would be like $10 million. Can you imagine getting that much money just to say thank you? Against all odds, MacArthur turned Japan into a success story, and people still talk about it today. Now let's switch to Dwight Eisenhower. His big triumph wasn't on the battlefield. It was something that changed America forever. As president, he created the U.S. Interstate Highway System. That's a huge network of roads connecting the whole country. Before this, traveling or moving things like food and supplies was slow and hard. Eisenhower's highways made life easier and brought people together. It was all about infrastructure, building things that last, and unity, keeping the country strong as one. His legacy lives on every time you drive on a big highway. Eisenhower had a special way of talking about leadership. He said, "Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because they want to do it." Think about that. He didn't shout or demand. He made people feel excited to work with him. Here's something cool. During World War II, Eisenhower gave a famous speech before D-Day when the Allies attacked to free Europe. He told his soldiers, "The eyes of the world are upon you." And guess what? He wrote that speech in just 30 minutes. It's amazing how a few quick words could inspire so many people to be brave. Both of these men were giants, but their paths to greatness couldn't be more different. MacArthur's story is full of drama and big wins, like a movie star leading an army. Eisenhower's story is quieter, like a smart planner building bridges, sometimes real ones. Picture this on your screen. On one side, you see Japan transforming under MacArthur. old cities turning modern, people voting for the first time. On the other side, you see Eisenhower's highways stretching across America, with cars zooming and time lapses showing construction crews at work. Two heroes, two styles, two incredible triumphs. MacArthur fought against all odds to win battles and rebuild a nation. Eisenhower worked to bridge the gap between people, making life better without firing a shot. Which one sounds more impressive to you so far? It's hard to choose, right? Let's think about what made them so special. MacArthur didn't just win wars, he left a mark on history with his bold ideas. Rebuilding Japan wasn't easy. He had to convince people who hated him after the war to trust him. And they did. That takes strength and a big personality. Eisenhower, though, showed that you don't need to be loud to be powerful. His highways didn't just move cars. They moved America forward. He thought about the future, not just the moment. And that D-Day speech? 30 minutes to write something that gave millions of soldiers the courage to fight. It's almost unbelievable. These triumphs tell us so much about who they were. MacArthur wanted victory at any cost. Eisenhower wanted progress that lasted. One was like a thunderstorm, loud and unforgettable. The other was like a river, calm but always moving forward. So, we've seen their highlight reels, their greatest hits. But how did they get there? Their paths were full of twists and turns, and that's what makes this story so exciting. Next, we're going to start with the man who loved the spotlight, Douglas MacArthur. His life was wild, from epic battles to getting fired by a president. Then we'll look at Eisenhower, the quiet guy who planned D-Day and kept the world from falling apart. Their triumphs are just the beginning. Stick around because their full stories are going to blow your mind. Part 2. MacArthur's Background. Let's step into the life of Douglas MacArthur, a man who loved the spotlight and lived a story bigger than most Hollywood movies. He was born in 1880, and from the start he was ambitious. That means he always wanted to achieve big things. His dad was a famous general, so MacArthur grew up dreaming of battles and glory. He joined the military and quickly rose through the ranks, climbing higher and higher because of his talent and hard work. One of his biggest moments came during World War II in the Pacific. The Pacific is the huge ocean where Japan and the United States fought some of the toughest battles. MacArthur was in charge of the American forces there, and he was brilliant at strategy, planning how to win. He led victories that pushed Japan back, island by island. People called him a decorated hero because he earned so many medals for his courage. One famous moment was in the Philippines, a country he loved deeply. When Japan attacked it, he promised, "I shall return." And he did. After escaping, he came back with an army and helped free the Philippines from Japan. That made him a legend. But MacArthur's story isn't all shiny medals and cheers. He was controversial. Some people loved him and some didn't. His next big chapter was the Korean War, which started in 1950. North Korea, backed by China, was fighting South Korea, and the United States stepped in to help. MacArthur was the leader again, and at first he won big battles. He pushed the enemy back with smart moves. But then he wanted to go further, too far for some people. He argued with President Harry Truman about how to fight the war. MacArthur even suggested using nuclear weapons to win fast. That's right, nukes. Truman said no way. The president thought it was too dangerous and could start a bigger war with China or Russia. MacArthur wouldn't back down. He kept pushing his ideas, even writing letters to newspapers about it. That was defiance, going against orders. In 1951, Truman had enough and fired MacArthur. Imagine that, a famous general losing his job in the middle of a war. It shocked the world. Some Americans cheered Truman, but others were angry because MacArthur was so popular. Picture this. Old footage of battles flashing on your screen, then a close-up of MacArthur's famous corncob pipe. He smoked it all the time, and finally Truman's letter saying, "You're done." Let's go back to the Philippines for a moment because that's where MacArthur's heart was. Before World War II, he lived there and helped build their army. When Japan attacked in 1941, he fought hard to defend the islands, but he couldn't stop them at first. He had to leave, and that broke his heart. His promise to return wasn't just talk. He meant it. When he came back in 1944, wading through water onto the beach, cameras caught it all. It was dramatic, like a movie scene. People saw him as larger than life, someone who seemed too big to be real. That's what made him special. He didn't just fight wars, he made them personal. His victories in the Pacific showed his genius, but his firing in Korea showed his weakness. He couldn't always work with others if they disagreed with him. MacArthur's life was full of ups and downs. He was a leader who wanted to win no matter what. His strategies in World War II saved lives and beat Japan. But in Korea, his big ideas got him in trouble. Think about this. Grainy black and white footage of ships and planes in the Pacific, soldiers cheering as MacArthur steps onto the Philippines shore. And then a quiet moment, Truman signing that firing letter. It's a wild ride. Some say he was a hero who never gave up. Others say he was reckless, taking risks that were too big. What do you think so far? Was he brave or stubborn? His story is like a roller coaster, exciting, loud, and a little scary. That's MacArthur's background, a man who shone bright but sometimes burned too hot. Next, we'll look at Eisenhower, a totally different kind of leader. Where MacArthur was all fire and noise, Eisenhower was calm and steady. His life had its own big moments, like planning D-Day and running the country for 8 years. Their paths crossed history in amazing ways, and soon we'll see how they stack up. Get ready. Eisenhower's story is coming next. Part 3. Eisenhower's background. Now let's turn to Dwight Eisenhower, a man who didn't need a spotlight to shine. He was born in 1890 in Texas, in a simple family, far from the military fame of MacArthur's childhood. Eisenhower wasn't loud or flashy, but he was smart and patient. He joined the army and worked his way up, not by shouting, but by planning and listening. His big moment came during World War II with D-Day. That was June 6, 1944, when the Allies landed in France to fight Nazi Germany. Eisenhower was the boss of it all, the supreme commander. Planning D-Day was a huge job. He had to bring together soldiers from many countries, figure out the weather, and trick the Germans so they wouldn't know where the attack was coming. It was a crisis, and he handled it with restraint, staying calm even when things could go wrong. The night before, he wrote 2 messages, one for victory and one admitting failure just in case. That's how serious he was. When D-Day worked, it changed the war. Soldiers hit the beaches, planes filled the sky, and Europe started to break free. Picture this. Old footage of waves crashing, troops running from boats, and Eisenhower watching it all unfold. After the war, Eisenhower didn't stop leading. He became President of the United States in 1953 and served 2 terms, 8 years total. This was during the Cold War, a tense time when America and the Soviet Union were rivals but didn't fight directly. Eisenhower was diplomatic. He knew how to talk and keep the peace. One big test was the Suez Crisis in 1956. Egypt took control of the Suez Canal, a key waterway, and Britain, France, and Israel attacked to take it back. The world was on edge. Would this turn into a bigger war? Eisenhower stepped in. He didn't send troops or threaten anyone. Instead, he used diplomacy, talking to leaders and the United Nations to stop the fighting. He told Britain and France to back off, and they did. It was a quiet win, no bombs, just words. That's how he worked, finding consensus, which means getting people to agree even when it was hard. Imagine this on your screen. Campaign posters from his presidency with his friendly smile, and then maps showing the Suez Canal calming down. Eisenhower's time as president wasn't just about crises. He also built things that lasted. Remember the interstate highway system? That was his idea. He saw how good roads helped win World War II, moving tanks and supplies fast. As president, he said, "America needs this too." So he started a giant project to connect the country with highways. It wasn't glamorous, but it was smart. It helped businesses grow, families travel, and the country stay strong. He led from behind, not out front like MacArthur, but guiding others to make it happen. His style was all about teamwork and thinking ahead. He didn't want wars if he could avoid them. During the Cold War, he kept things steady when others might have panicked. Some people called him boring, but boring can be good when it means no fighting. Think about Eisenhower's life for a second. He wasn't chasing medals or headlines. D-Day wasn't about him. It was about the soldiers and the plan. As president, he didn't start big wars like Korea or push for nukes. He wanted stability. Picture this: black and white clips of D-Day landings, waves crashing on the shore, then fading to Eisenhower in the White House, signing papers for highways while the world stayed calm. His speeches weren't loud, but they stuck with you. Before D-Day, he told his troops, "You are about to embark upon the Great Crusade." Simple words, but they gave people strength. In the Suez Crisis, he didn't yell. He just said, "Let's fix this together." That's who he was, a leader who kept the peace. Eisenhower's background shows a different kind of strength. Where MacArthur stormed through history, Eisenhower built it step by step. He faced huge moments, D-Day, the Cold War, the Suez Crisis, and handled them with a cool head. Some say he was cautious, others say he was wise. What do you think? Was he strong because he avoided trouble, or did he just play it too safe? His story is like a steady river, moving forward without making a lot of noise. Next, we'll put him side by side with MacArthur and see how their styles really compare. Get ready. It's going to be a fun showdown. Part 4. Leadership Style. Let's put MacArthur and Eisenhower side by side and look at how they led. Their leadership styles were like night and day, one loud and commanding, the other quiet and teamwork-focused. First, let's talk about Douglas MacArthur. He was authoritarian, which means he liked to be the boss and tell everyone what to do. When he gave orders, he expected them to be followed. No questions asked. He loved dramatic speeches that fired people up. Picture him standing tall, pipe in his mouth, telling soldiers, "We will win." His words were big, and so was his ego. He thought he was the best, and he wanted everyone to know it. He was decisive, making quick choices even in tough spots. But sometimes he tried to micromanage, control every little detail himself. In World War II, this worked great. He planned battles in the Pacific and led his troops to victory after victory. People cheered his name because he was a star. It was always my way or the highway with MacArthur. If you didn't agree, you were out. That made him strong, but it also got him into trouble later. Now let's switch to Dwight Eisenhower. His style was totally different, collaborative and calm. He didn't shout or demand. He listened and brought people together. Leadership for him was about teamwork. He once said it's about getting others to do what you want, because they want to do it too. That takes quiet confidence, not loud speeches. In World War II, planning D-Day showed this perfectly. He worked with generals from many countries, Britain, Canada, the US, and got them all on the same page. He didn't care who got the credit as long as the job got done. That's humility, putting the team first, not yourself. He liked to empower people, giving them the tools and trust to succeed. Picture this. Eisenhower in a meeting, maps spread out, asking questions and nodding as others shared ideas. His phrase was, "Together we stand, united, not alone." Where MacArthur wanted to be the hero, Eisenhower wanted everyone to win together. Think about how this looked in real life. MacArthur's big moment was in the Pacific, leading with bold moves and big promises like, "I shall return." His soldiers loved him because he was like a king on the battlefield. But his ego could be a problem. In the Korean War, he ignored orders from President Truman because he thought he knew better. That wasn't teamwork. That was MacArthur doing things his way. It made him famous, but it also got him fired. Eisenhower's big moment was D-Day, and he didn't make it about himself. He stayed in the background, letting others shine, but his plan saved the day. As president, he kept that same style. He didn't boss people around. He worked with Congress and other leaders to get things like highways built. MacArthur's style was a one-man show. Eisenhower's was a group effort. Imagine this on your screen, a split view. On one side, MacArthur's voice booms through a microphone, soldiers cheering as he waves. On the other, Eisenhower sits with his team, pointing at a map, everyone nodding and smiling. Two leaders, two ways of doing things. MacArthur's decisive nature won wars fast, but it could push people away. He didn't like sharing power. Everything had to go through him. That's why some called him a genius and others called him stubborn. Eisenhower's way took longer sometimes. He had to talk and agree with others. But it built trust. His humility made people want to follow him, not because they had to, but because they believed in him. In a crisis, MacArthur might charge in alone. Eisenhower would gather a group and plan it out. Which style do you like more? MacArthur's My Way or the Highway could inspire you to be bold and take charge. It's exciting, like a movie hero leading the way. But Eisenhower's Together We Stand feels steady, like you're part of something bigger. Both worked in their time. MacArthur's drama won battles. Eisenhower's teamwork won a war and kept peace. Their styles show two sides of leadership. One loud and commanding, the other quiet and uniting. Next, we'll see how these styles played out in tough moments, like MacArthur's defiance in Korea and Eisenhower's calm in the Suez Crisis. It's going to show us even more about who they really were. Part 5. Handling Crises. Let's see how MacArthur and Eisenhower handled crises, those big, tense moments that test a leader. First, we'll look at MacArthur in the Korean War. This war started in 1950 when North Korea attacked South Korea. The United States, led by MacArthur, jumped in to help. At first, he was amazing. He planned a surprise attack at Incheon, a port city, and pushed the North Koreans back. People thought he was unstoppable. But then things got tricky. China joined the war on North Korea's side, sending huge armies across the border. MacArthur didn't back down. He wanted to fight harder. He suggested bombing China and even using nuclear weapons. Yes, nukes. He thought this would end the war fast. But President Truman said no. Truman worried it would start a bigger war, maybe even World War III, with China and the Soviet Union. MacArthur wouldn't listen. He kept pushing his ideas, even talking to newspapers about it. That's defiance, going against the boss. He crossed the line, and in 1951, Truman fired him. Imagine that, a general so famous, kicked out mid-war. Some saw it as brinkmanship, taking risks right up to the edge. Others thought it was just reckless. Picture this: an animated map of Korea, red arrows showing China's attack, then a big nuclear symbol flashing as MacArthur's plan fails. Now let's look at Eisenhower and the Suez Crisis in 1956. This was a different kind of mess. Egypt took over the Suez Canal, a super important waterway for ships. Britain, France, and Israel didn't like that, so they attacked Egypt to take it back. The world freaked out. Would the Soviet Union jump in? Would it turn into a huge war? Eisenhower was president, and he didn't panic. He didn't send troops or threaten anyone. Instead, he used diplomacy, talking and negotiating. He called Britain and France his allies and said, "Stop this." He worked with the United Nations to pressure them too. It wasn't loud or flashy, just calm, smart moves to de-escalate, to make things less tense. In the end, the fighting stopped, and the canal stayed with Egypt. Eisenhower kept the peace without firing a shot. That's pragmatism, doing what works, not what looks dramatic. Picture this: a map of the Suez Canal, arrows showing the attack, then a handshake symbol as Eisenhower's plan succeeds. Cooler heads prevailed. He didn't let the crisis explode. Think about these two moments. MacArthur's crisis was a war he wanted to win his way. He saw China coming and said, "Let's hit them hard, even with nukes." It was bold, but dangerous. He couldn't stand losing, so he pushed too far. That defiance cost him his job. Some say he was brave to think big. Others say he was crazy to risk so much. Eisenhower's crisis wasn't a war he fought, it was one he stopped. He saw the Suez mess and said, "Let's talk it out." He didn't need to be the hero. He just wanted calm. His diplomacy worked because he stayed steady. Some say he was wise, others say he avoided tough choices. Which one sounds stronger to you? MacArthur charging in or Eisenhower holding back? Let's imagine them in action. MacArthur in Korea was like a lion, roaring, fighting, ready to use any weapon to win. He didn't care if Truman said no. He believed he was right. That's what made him exciting but also risky. His map would light up with battle lines and a big X where he crossed the line. Eisenhower in Suez was like a teacher, calmly telling everyone to sit down and work it out. He didn't need a weapon. His words were enough. His map would show peace spreading, not war. MacArthur's style was escalation, making things bigger, louder, scarier. Eisenhower's was the opposite, keeping things small and safe. In Korea, MacArthur's defiance lost him everything. In Suez, Eisenhower's restraint won him respect. These crises show their hearts. MacArthur couldn't bend. He had to lead alone, even if it meant trouble. Eisenhower could adapt. He led by bringing others along, even if it wasn't flashy. One risked a nuclear war, the other stopped a war before it grew. Next, we'll look at their legacies, what people remember about them today. Did MacArthur's boldness make him a legend or a warning? Did Eisenhower's calm make him a hero or just a quiet name? Get ready, it's the final showdown. Part 6, Legacy. Let's talk about the legacy of MacArthur and Eisenhower, what they left behind and how people see them today. First, Douglas MacArthur. His reputation is mixed. Some call him a genius, others say he was reckless. He's remembered as a polarizing figure, someone you either love or hate. His big wins in World War II, especially in the Pacific and rebuilding Japan, made him an icon. After Japan lost the war, he turned it into a democracy. Schools opened, people voted, and the country grew strong again. That's huge. People still see him as a legend for that. But then there's Korea. He pushed too hard, defied Truman, and got fired. That left a mark too. Some say he was brilliant but couldn't control himself. He's like a statue standing tall, impressive, but with cracks. In the Philippines, they adore him. There's even a giant statue of him wading ashore, pipe in hand. His phrase, a legend in his own mind, fits sometimes. He loved the glory and believed he was unstoppable. But controversy follows him. Was he a hero who won wars or a risk-taker who went too far? Picture this. A poll showing half the people cheering his name, half shaking their heads, next to that famous statue. Now let's look at Dwight Eisenhower's legacy. He's often called the president who kept the peace. That sums him up. Steady, calm, and lasting. His big gift to America was the interstate highway system. Those roads still carry cars, trucks, and dreams across the country. It's an enduring legacy, something that stands the test of time. As president during the Cold War, he didn't start fights. He kept things stable when the world felt like it could blow up. The Suez Crisis showed his strength, stopping a war with words, not weapons. People loved him for that. He was bipartisan too. He worked with both political parties, not just one side. That's rare today. His reputation isn't loud like MacArthur's. It's quiet but solid. Think of him like a highway, not flashy, but always there when you need it. Picture this. A poll with most people giving him a thumbs up, then a shot of those endless highways stretching across America. Let's dig into what makes their legacies different. MacArthur's story is dramatic, full of highs and lows. He won battles against all odds, like in the Pacific, where he outsmarted Japan. Rebuilding Japan was a miracle, turning an enemy into a friend. But Korea? That's where his recklessness shows. Suggesting nukes scared people and getting fired made him a cautionary tale. Some history books call him a genius who shaped Asia. Others say he was too full of himself. His legacy splits people. Half see an icon, half see controversy. Eisenhower's story is smoother. D-Day was his wartime win. Planned perfectly, executed with care. As president, he didn't chase drama. Highways, peace in Suez, a steady hand in the Cold War, that's his mark. His legacy unites people. Most agree he did good without making a mess. MacArthur's like a firework, bright, loud, then gone. Eisenhower's like a bridge, built to last. Imagine their legacies side by side. MacArthur's got that statue in the Philippines, a symbol of his bold return. People there still tell stories about him saving them. But in America, his firing lingers. Some veterans loved him, others didn't. Polls might show a 50-50 split. Half say he's a hero, half say he's trouble. Eisenhower's got those highways. Every time you drive, you feel his work. His presidency gets high marks. Historians rank him near the top for keeping peace. Polls might show 70% approval. People like steady leaders. MacArthur's legacy is polarizing because he took big risks. Some paid off, some didn't. Eisenhower's is enduring because he played it safe and smart. Everything he touched lasted. So, what do you think? MacArthur's boldness left a complicated story. Genius mixed with mistakes. He's a legend, but not perfect. Eisenhower's calm left a simpler one. Success without chaos. He's a quiet giant. On your screen, imagine this. MacArthur's statue towering over a crowd, then Eisenhower's highways rolling past green fields. Two leaders, two marks on history. Did MacArthur's fire inspire more, or did Eisenhower's water sustain better? Their legacies ask us, is it better to shine bright or stand the test of time? Next, we'll wrap this up with some English lessons, using their stories to learn new words and ideas. Get ready, it's going to be fun. Part 7, English Learning Focus. Now let's dive into some English learning fun with MacArthur and Eisenhower's stories. Their lives give us so many chances to practice English, past tense stories, comparing ideas, and cool new words. Let's start with how we talk about the past. When we tell their stories, we use the past tense a lot. For example, MacArthur rebuilt Japan after the war. He went there, made changes, and left a new country behind. Or, Eisenhower planned D-Day with his team. He sat down, made a plan, and it worked. See how we say what happened step by step? Let's try it. Think about MacArthur in the Philippines. He promised to return, he left, and then he came back with an army. Or Eisenhower as president. He saw bad roads, started the highway project, and changed America. Practice this. Say out loud, MacArthur fought in the Pacific and he won big battles. Or, Eisenhower stopped the Suez Crisis with smart talks. It's like telling a little story. Past tense makes it exciting. Next, let's play with comparing and contrasting. We've been looking at these two leaders side by side, and English loves phrases for that. Try this. MacArthur loved the spotlight, whereas Eisenhower stayed quiet. That word whereas shows they're different. Or, MacArthur was bold, but Eisenhower was careful. These little words, whereas, but, while, help us show how they're not the same. Let's practice more. Say, MacArthur wanted nukes in Korea while Eisenhower chose peace in Suez. Or, Eisenhower built highways but MacArthur rebuilt a country. It's fun to mix them up. You can even say, whereas MacArthur got fired, Eisenhower stayed popular. See how it flows? It's like building a bridge between their stories, showing what's alike and what's not. Now let's grab some awesome words from their lives. First, perseverance. That's sticking with something even when it's hard. MacArthur showed it in the Pacific. He kept fighting no matter what. Say it. Perseverance helped him win. Next, negotiation. Talking to solve problems. Eisenhower used it in Suez. He negotiated and stopped a war. Try it. Negotiation kept the peace. How about integrity? That's doing the right thing. Eisenhower had it. He didn't chase fame, just results. Say, integrity made him trusted. Then there's ambition, wanting to achieve big things. MacArthur had tons of it. He aimed high every time. Practice. Ambition drove him forward. Last one, restraint. Holding back when you need to. Eisenhower showed restraint by not starting wars. Say, restraint saved lives. Repeat these words. They're like treasures from their stories. Let's tie them to some phrases we've used. Against all odds fits MacArthur. He won battles when it seemed impossible. Say it. Against all odds, he returned to the Philippines. Or, find common ground. That's Eisenhower, bringing people together. Try it. He found common ground in tough times. These phrases make your English sound natural and strong. Imagine telling a friend, MacArthur pushed against all odds, but Eisenhower knew how to find common ground. It's smooth and fun. Let's do an activity now. Repeat after me. True leadership requires both strength and wisdom. Say it loud. True leadership requires both strength and wisdom. Feel that? MacArthur had strength, Eisenhower had wisdom. Together they show the whole picture. Let's practice all this together. Tell a quick story in the past tense. MacArthur led his troops and won in Japan. Then compare. Whereas he was loud, Eisenhower was calm. Add a word. His ambition made him famous. And a phrase. He succeeded against all odds. Now try Eisenhower. Eisenhower planned D-Day and kept peace. Compare. But MacArthur took risks. Eisenhower used restraint. Add a word. His integrity shone through. And a phrase. He found common ground with everyone. See how it builds? You're speaking English like a pro, telling stories, comparing, using big words and cool phrases. This is just the beginning. Feel free to use these patterns in any way you like, talking about your day, a movie, or even your own heroes. For example, you could say, I studied hard yesterday while my friend played games. Or, she showed incredible perseverance and finished the race despite all the challenges. MacArthur and Eisenhower aren't just history figures, they're now your English teachers. Keep practicing. Say their stories in your own words, compare them, and add negotiation or restraint to your descriptions. Next, we'll wrap up with a big finish, summarizing them and asking what you think. Get ready, it's your turn to shine. Here we are, standing at the crossroads of history with MacArthur and Eisenhower, two giants who lit up the world in their own blazing ways. MacArthur was the fire, a wildfire of courage, charging into the unknown, daring to dream of victory at any cost. He rebuilt Japan from ashes and faced down enemies with a roar. Eisenhower was the water, a deep, unstoppable river of wisdom, carving paths of peace and progress. He masterminded D-Day and gave America highways to chase its dreams. Fire and water, two forces that shaped our past and still echo in our hearts. Who was the stronger leader? That's your call, and it's a big one. Their stories aren't just history, they're a challenge to you. What kind of leader will you become? So, let's spark some fire in you. Jump into the comments and shout it out. Are you Team Fire or Team Water? Does MacArthur's fearless charge make your pulse race? Or does Eisenhower's steady hand lift your spirit? Tell me who inspires you and why. I'm dying to know. And if you've grabbed 5 new words today, maybe ambition or restraint, smash that like button hard. Your energy fuels this journey and I want to see it explode. Imagine this. Could MacArthur's boldness ignite a revolution in your life? Could Eisenhower's calm guide you through your toughest storms? Which one calls to your soul? Now let's dig deeper with some big questions. What if MacArthur ran your country? Would his fire unite or divide? What if Eisenhower's teamwork took charge? Could it heal the chaos around you? Think about it. Which style would shake your world awake? And here's a wild one. Has someone in your life ever stumbled like MacArthur in Korea or soared like Eisenhower on D-Day? Maybe a friend, a teacher, or even you. Tell me their story. What did their highs and lows teach you about guts, grit, or grace? Drop it in the comments. Your voice matters here. Picture this as we wrap up. MacArthur strides forward, fierce and proud, his words blazing. In war, there is no substitute for victory. Beside him, Eisenhower stands firm, eyes warm, saying, "Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because they want to do it." Two visions, two legends, and a glowing subscribe button pulsing below. Hit it! Join this adventure for more epic tales and English that lifts you higher. Every story we share is a chance to grow, to dream, to lead in your own way. You're not just watching, you're rising with us. Thanks for riding this wave of history and heart. MacArthur and Eisenhower didn't just lead, they dared us to be more. You've walked their paths, learned their words, and now it's your turn to shine. Will you burn bright like fire or flow strong like water? Use what you've learned. Tell their tales, compare their spirits, inspire someone today. Comment fire or water, smash like for 5 new words, and subscribe to English Starline to keep the flame alive. See you next time. Go out there and lead with everything you've got.
Thanks for watching English Starline. Subscribe now to keep learning English through the amazing stories of famous lives.